Good evening and welcome to Caffe Lena. My name is Sarah Craig. I celebrated my 25th anniversary as executive director of this legendary venue just about 1 month before our part of the planet was stopped in its tracks by coronavirus. There are a few words that will always remind us of this moment in our lives. Unprecedented, face mask, existential threat, hand sanitizer, Zoom. After 25 years of gathering people on an almost daily basis into this room where I'm sitting right now, I find myself here alone on the occasion of this remarkable venue's 60th anniversary. But while I'm the only person inside these four walls, I know that hundreds of eyes and ears and hearts are all together in a virtual space. And tonight, that's the space we will call Caffe Lena. And it is into that space that I welcome you and into which I thank you for welcoming me and the wonderful musicians we will hear from shortly. As we approached this day, I, as the director of this organization, had decisions to make. The celebration that had been planned was canceled. The celebration envisioned as a replacement became impossible. And as the rules shifted and the remaining days for planning dwindled, I lost heart that an adequate celebration was even possible. I thought maybe we'll just wait until the fall in hopes that we can be together at that time. And in the midst of that low point, I received an interview request from Will Levith. He's the editor of Saratoga Living magazine. So, can I get an exclusive on Caffe Lena's 60th anniversary celebration? I said, well, Will, I wrote back, I don't think we're going to have a celebration. I'll do something in the fall. It took him a couple of days to digest that. And he said, Sarah, we need something to celebrate right now. Thousands of people love Caffe Lena, and they need a happy occasion. And of course, he was absolutely right. And I went back to the staff, and we all found our collective bootstraps. And here we are tonight. In the face of the pandemic, our most ancient social pastimes are facing an existential threat. Sports and shared worship and music have been part of the human family since time immemorial, bringing us together despite war, despite famine, despite disagreements, grand and small. And yet, in the face of this virus, we're being forced to replace the gatherings as we know them with events like the one we're participating in at this moment, a virtual concert with musicians and audience members scattered across the globe, each in his or her own private space that's safe. Every one of us is tremendously grateful for the internet. It's better than nothing, but it will not do as a long-term solution. And leaders of nonprofit organizations across the globe are lying awake at night, talking endlessly on Zoom, scribbling thoughts into their journals, scanning the media, and looking for a way to continue traditions that we know to be essential, not because of the money they pour into the economy, but because we sing. We sing in harmony. We play in rhythm. We feel complete and free when the melody and beat and poetry of music touches our skin. In this moment, I have never been more grateful to be part of an organization with 60 years of history. This organization is a miracle of survival. Our founder, Lena Nargi Spencer, after facing challenges that range from being abandoned by her husband and business partner, to the ascendance of disco music, to the loss of her eyesight and the loss of her home. And we as a community faced the loss of her and her profound determination and her love of us. And this community carried on. And when our building went on sale, this community found the money to buy it. And when the building began falling apart, this community raised the money to fix it. And when this pandemic struck, this small, volunteer-driven, award-winning, world-famous, 100-seat concert venue met the challenge of the shutdown with 3 high-definition live streaming cameras, a physical plant that enabled separation of production staff and musicians, and we managed not only to continue nightly programming, but since March 14th, thanks to your generosity, we have generated more than $25,000 in paychecks for musicians, and we've been declared essential by the state of New York. We may be living in this virtual space for many months to come, but in every way possible, we will enrich it with our goodwill, our humanity, and our hope. Please enjoy the show we've put together for you tonight. Over the next hour and a half, we'll pay tribute to each of our 6 decades. I thank the staff and musicians who responded so readily to my call for help, and I thank every one of you for spending your evening here. After the show, please stick around. I'll be returning to the stage for a short wrap-up with Caffe Lena's board president, Jim Mastriani, and we'd like to tell you about our path forward as an organization and let you know how you can help Caffe Lena remain a steadfast anchor for music and community in this turbulent world. And now, the 1960s.
We started this place off with high standards and high principles, and maintained them all the way through. They were the greatest amount of respect for the performers and the greatest amount of respect for the audience. It was always personal, always has been and still is. The cafe has become a place where people can come and feel comfortable here no matter what their age or what their occupation or anything like that. Lena Spencer.
Whenever Lena needed a performer, if she didn't have someone for a weekend, sometimes she'd call my husband, Dave Van Ronk, and beg him to come up and do an appearance. Sometimes she would call me and ask me to help her get someone. When I started working with Bob Dylan, he was raw, certainly not a professional performer, but he wanted to work, and I said, I'll do what I can. Some of the clubs in the village booked him, but out of town, nobody wanted him. I called Lena, and she wouldn't take him. Finally, I said, you owe me. Every time you got a problem, you call me, and I solve it. I want you to hire this guy. And she did. Terry Thal.
Right from the start, I loved it. Loved Lena. It was the warmest, friendliest place you can imagine. There's always going to be room for an acoustic guitar and a single voice. It will never die out. I still love the sound of one acoustic guitar and one voice. Tom Paxton.
Lena was always just happy to have you there, whether it was a slow night or one that was packed with people. To this day, it feels like a home on the road to me. Bill Staines.
Congratulations to Caffe Lena on 60 years of wonderful music for wonderful audiences. I'm John Winn. I'm 86 years old. And 60 years ago, in 1960, I made my first appearance on the stage of this wonderful coffee house for that special person, Lena Spencer. I wrote this book about my life as a traveling troubadour, titled This Singing Thing, because my dad said that he hoped I didn't get too interested in this singing thing. He wanted me to be a school teacher or something, but I sang anyway. I'm going to read you a story about Caffe Lena. I have 3 episodes in the book about Lena Spencer and Caffe Lena, and all 3 of them are pretty interesting. This gives you a little bit of an idea about how it was like back then. In 1960, a widening circle of coffee houses in the smaller cities of upstate New York began to provide a steady source of work, with Caffe Lena in Saratoga Springs being the crown jewel of the circuit. Lena Spencer was special. She loved folk music and folk singers like mother loves her newborn babe. She would brook no rude behavior from her audiences. Her sincere introductions would leave no doubt that the singer they were about to hear was special, and they were there to listen, not to treat music as background noise for conversation. Dave Van Ronk, Patrick Skye, Jim Rooney, Jackie Washington, Eddie West, and the new kid on the block at that time, Bob Dylan, also played there in 1960. Part of the deal of a weekend gig at Lena's was you got a place to sleep. My first time there, I finished my last set and looked around to see where the sleeping quarters might be. Then I saw Lena making up a mattress on the stage where I just finished singing on. I was tired and the mattress wasn't bad, so I got a decent night's sleep and didn't stir until the Chinese laundry at street level under Lena's started their washing machines the next morning. That was some kind of a wake-up call. Now I'm going to sing you a song that I wrote not too long ago, and it's about troubadours. It's called the Troubadour Lament, and I think, Lena, wherever you are, I hope you like it. Like troubadours of old, we're hanging on to tell our tales of life and sing our song. One door will open and one will close. The time tells time. It's time for us to go. So many of the best of us are gone and left the rest of us to carry on. Perhaps it's just a state of mind and age. One final curtain call, then we leave the stage. There's nothing colder than the middle of the night, when the hour is late and you're feeling low. Then a new day dawns with the coming of the morning light, and the sun will rise, and it's time to write another song. Another song, a story to be told. Clouds of rain and tears of love and hope. And after all these years, one thing we know, that someday even younger troubadours get old. Now the high notes that we sing are not so high, and the lower notes are not so low. I remember times before time passed us by, when my voice was clear and life was long. This is that song. Like troubadours of old, we're hanging on to tell our tales of life and sing our songs. A door will open, one will close. Till time tells time, it's time for us to go.
Hi, everybody. Your old friend Tom. In my little room for the duration, just like the rest of us. I'm having some wonderful memories of my first time at Caffe Lena in the autumn of 1960, right out of the Army. I had met Bill and Lena at the Commons Coffee House that summer while I was still in the Army, and they made arrangements for me to come up, and I took the train. The only time I ever took the train was the first time I came up there, and Bill met me at the train, and I was a kid in the candy store in the cafe. It was such a warm, inviting place, and the place was full with a wonderful audience. I'm not sure how good a show I was able to produce for them. I was just getting my feet under me doing this sort of thing, but I know I had a great time, and I always looked forward to coming back, and I particularly loved coming back there in the autumn with all the leaves and the beautiful colors and nip in the air and all of that. It was such a homely place for a young folk singer trying to get a start in the world, and I want to congratulate everybody for 60 years of a wonderful coffee house, still going. I'm looking forward to my next time there. And I thought I'd sing not maybe an expected song, but a song from way back in those days. Last night I heard a sweet voice calling, come along, won't you come along? Wind on the river and the calves all bawling, come along, won't you come along home? Come along, won't you come along home now? Night is falling and the path is steep. Come along, won't you come along home now? Water's running and the river is deep. Wind goes whoosh and the trees are sighing. Come along, won't you come along home? Somebody's born and somebody's dying. Come along, won't you come along home? Come along, won't you come along home now? Night is falling and the path is steep. Come along home now, water's running and the river is deep. Every night the song gets bolder, come along, won't you come along home? Song gets sweeter as I grow older, come along, won't you come along home? Come along, won't you come along home now? Night is falling and the path is deep. Come along, won't you come along home now? The water's running and the river is deep. Water's running and the river is deep. Water's running and the river is happy anniversary.
Hi folks, Bill Staines here, wishing Caffe Lena a happy 60th birthday. The first time I ever played Lena's was in March of 1968. I had actually driven out from Boston to audition for Lena, and the blizzard of 68 hit that weekend, and the scheduled performer couldn't be there. And so Lena just said to me, well, you know, you're here, why don't you just play for the weekend? And I'll pay you the money that came in the door. And I think we had about a dozen people all weekend long. It was a terrible storm, but it was the beginning of a long relationship that I've had with the cafe. And it's been a whole lot of fun throughout the years. I'm gonna do a song that's kind of a song for the times. It's called Crossing the Water. We are crossing over. blackest night. For there is no shallow water, not but love to keep us safely from the dangers and the devils of the deep. Yet with every breath within us, we search forevermore to find some peaceful harbor on the far offshore. We are crossing the water our whole life through. We make a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light shining through the darkness of the blackest night. For some it is a glory, for some it is a gain, for some it is a story filled with emptiness and pain. Ever rising winds and chorus, we search for steady ground. There is only that before us, there can be no turning around. And we are crossing the water our whole life through. We're making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light shining through the darkness of the blackest night. For there is no other journey that will ever be the same. No second chance horizon that will call you by your name. When the wind waves wash o'er you, stormy winds they drive. Give your heart a song, sing it loud and long, keep your dreams alive. You're crossing the water our whole life through. We're making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light shining through the darkness of the blackest night. Oh, we are crossing the water our whole life through. We're making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light shining through the darkness of the blackest night. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light shining through the darkness of the blackest night. Happy birthday to the cafe, and you all stay well out there.
One of the great things about Caffe Lena was that it was the center of a community that stretched all across the country. It was a real important place to play because Lena was a real connector. Rosalie Sorrells.
It was wonderful, and it was all at a sub-industrial level. It had nothing to do with television or mass media. It had to do with being together. Joseph Campbell said, all we really want is to be completely human and in each other's company. That's what the cafe did. It brought people together. Utah Phillips.
Lena took that simple place of hers and made it into a little temple of art. You would walk upstairs and suddenly you would be in this place, see those old chairs and enter that room, and it was like magic. David Amram.
Hello, a virtual hello from the village of North Bennington. Cindy Mangsen.
Steve Gillette.
And
Happy 60th
happy
anniversary to Caffe Lena and all of our good friends, all of the Lena fans that are out in virtual land somewhere.
We're so glad to have such a long relationship with Lena's.
Absolutely. We hope to continue for years to come and also to be able to all get back into the same place at the same time. But thanks for listening. There is a moment when the dark spell of winter is broken by the promise of the spring. When we walk the mile woods in the first hours of the morning and arrive with all the world awakening, I am nurtured by your presence, root and branch and blossom, and the soft rain shining in your hair. When the first leaves fall, no matter where you are, I want to be there. There is a moment in the high green summer when the long sweet days give way to shadow, when we lay together beside the open window, watch the fireflies like stars upon the meadow. There's an unspoken wisdom in the motion of the tree, eternity stirring in the air. When the first leaves fall, no matter where you are, I will be there. I want to be the one with you, and the frost is on the fence post, and the cold traveler moon stands alone. That remains of the warm rains of summer is the mist on the mill pond below. Yours is the yearning that gives meaning to my own. In the silence, when the wish becomes a prayer, when the first leaves fall, no matter where you are, the first leaves fall, no matter where you are,
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy 60th anniversary, Caffe Lena. This is Don Armstrong in beautiful Tucson, Arizona. And actually, it's 57 years this month that I started hanging out at the cafe at the tender age of 16. And Lena took me under her wing at that time. So Sarah asked me to maybe tell a story, but gosh, where to start and where to stop? I saw Bob Dylan there. He came up to hang out at the cafe. It was the week he recorded Like a Rolling Stone. I was just about to graduate from high school, and it was about 3 weeks before he went electric at Newport. And I got to see people like Reverend Gary Davis, Arlo, Malvina Reynolds, Ian and Sylvia did a guest set, the Greenbrier Boys with my all-time hero, John Harold. Lena knew that John was a hero of mine, and when they came to play, Lena invited me up to her apartment so I could meet John and talk to him. Lena did that quite a bit. Utah Phillips threw a knife at me in the green room at the cafe the very first time we met. And I used to tell that story like it was kind of a badge of honor until my friend Tom Mitchell told me that, hey, Don, Phillips threw a knife at everybody. So that kind of took some of the thunder out of that story. My first gig at the cafe was with Tom Mitchell, Happy Pappy Weekend, 1972, sharing the bill with Kate and Anna McGarrigle. It was Anna's first appearance at the cafe. I fell in love and met my late wife, Victoria, at the cafe, and I said goodbye to her at the cafe. So to Lena, to Sarah, who has carried on such a magnificent job, I love you dearly, Sarah. To the staff, Nancy and Reese and Carolyn and everybody, you carry on that spirit that I felt when I first started going there. To the audience, I've met so many new friends in the audience at Caffe Lena. And so thank you. I love you all, and let's all carry it on. Well, the laundry was done, the coffee all gone, took a walk by the river run. When the wind kicked up like a frisky young pup, took to stealing my hat like it was some kind of fun. Fun, some kind of how do you do? Some like to dance, take the big chance, that's how I like to do. How about you? Now my hat took flight to the wind's delight, I lit out running to take up the fight. But the wind was too fast, Lordy knows how to dance. It was two-step, slow dance, and two-stepping into the night. Fun, some kind of how do you do? Some like to dance, take the big chance, that's how I like to do. How about you? Now the wind, it would slow down, let me catch up just to start all over again. 'Twas all I could do not to jump out of my shoes like some kind of dancing fool. You know, some like to dance, take the big chance, that's what I like to do. How about you? Some kind of fun, some kind of how do you do? Some like to dance, take the big chance, that's how I like to do. How about you? Happy 60th anniversary, Caffe Lena. Good to see you.
I envision Lena as an Earth Mother type, wearing flowing robes and eating organic vegetables. She turned out to be a chain-smoking, soap opera-addicted Scrabble enthusiast. Christine Lavin.
Lena is an old friend, and her cafe must be famous throughout the English-speaking world, at least. The human race needs more persevering people like Lena. Think of Lena as a woman who did something so extraordinary that her work will go down through the centuries. Pete Seeger.
It was an incredibly comfortable place to be a misfit. I've not found very many places like that in my lifetime. It was the beginning of a people rebelling in a way that created a new kind of community, a new kind of family. Liz LeCompte.
Many years ago, I was a waitress and a bread baker at the Caffe Lena from 1975 to 1976. And in October, it was actually Halloween night in 1975, Lena Spencer, a girl named Joni, who also lived at Lena's like I did, and I left at 10 o'clock at night to drive all the way to Cape Cod because we heard, or Lena had figured out, she actually did figure it out, where the Rolling Thunder Revue was rehearsing. This is a tour to celebrate the bicentennial that Bob Dylan put together with Joan Baez, Scarlett Rivera, Howie Wyeth, British guitarist Mick Ronson, and along the way they picked up Arlo Guthrie, Joni Mitchell. I think Gordon Lightfoot even did some shows with them. But we drove all the way. We got there because the car broke down 3 times during the drive on Halloween night from Saratoga to Falmouth, Massachusetts. We got there about 5 in the morning, and Lena asked Bob Dylan if they would come and play the cafe because she heard they were playing small rooms. And when they meant small rooms, they meant 1,000-seat rooms instead of 20,000-seat rooms. So there's no way they could come and do the show at the cafe. But Bob Dylan always had a soft spot in his heart for Lena, and he invited her to be part of the entourage for the first week of the tour. And I was part of her entourage, so I got to be included, and I got to see the show 3 times. The Rolling Thunder Revue. I saw it from the very front row. I saw it from the very, very back of the hall. I sat next to the follow spot operator for one of the shows, and I also watched it from the wings. And there was one character in particular who seemed overwhelmed by the response that he got. It was a terrific response. And he was on early in the show, and then he'd hang around in the wings until the finale. And then I watched him at the hotel, and I ended up writing the song about him. So I wrote this song 45 years ago. I can't believe I'm old enough to have a song 45 years old that I still remember. And I've reworked the guitar chart a little bit, and I'm planning on recording it on my next record, this new updated version. It's called The Ramblin' Waltz. Alone on the stage, you're a cowboy in lights, charming the audience night after night. They clap their hands for you, they all wish you well. They go home to families, you go home to hotels. Well, there's cranky bartenders, old chambermaids, young waitresses, all underpaid. Some treat you with contempt, some with respect. Their faces stay with you, their names you forget. You're a rambler, singer of songs women don't understand and don't wait for you long. Now you gotta keep moving, traveling on, the road's calling you. Wish you were gone. Some call you a rambler, some call you a rogue. Some think you're a gambler, some think you're a joke. If I knew you better, I might not agree, but all I know of you is what I can see. With guitar in your hand and the light in your eyes, you come on so strong, you appear to be wise. But when it's all over, you've nothing to do but sit in some bar room and down quite a few. You're a rambler, a singer of songs women don't understand and don't wait for you for very long. Now you gotta keep moving, traveling on, the road's calling you. You wish you were gone. you're tired of the East Coast, you long for the West, where the sun always shines and the beer tastes the best. But you need what you're getting up there on the stage, and you like making more than a working man's wage. So you're trapped in the music that you do so well. You're trapped in the comforts of fancy hotel. It's nothing you've said, I just think I can tell. If you had your way, you'd be gone. The old rambler, singer of songs women don't understand and don't love you for very long. Now you gotta keep moving, traveling on. The road's calling you. You wish you were gone. Now you gotta keep moving, traveling on. The road's calling you. Now you're gone. Happy anniversary, Caffe Lena. 60 years. Keep going.
Hey, gang! Loudon Wainwright here. Locked down somewhere in Suffolk County, New York. "60 years, Caffe Lena." Whew. I started playing there about 50 years ago. This is a song that I probably played 50 years ago. I think you will be happy to know I don't love you no more. At least not in the same old way. I've changed, that's a fact. I picked up something that before I had lacked. I don't need you like I needed you yesterday. Now you can go ahead and go to San Francisco, baby. We all know what happens there. You got you lying in the sun, you're loving anyone, you're bound to get the kinks in your hair. In your hair, in your hair. Yeah, I know that you'd like to think that seeing you puts me in the pink, but baby, you are wrong. I really couldn't care less. Yeah, I may as well confess. That little tune I wrote about you last winter, it was a lousy song. I admit it. It kind of went like this, kind of. Get your kicks and hurry on back to New York. I'll bet you money I still won't care. I won't care, I won't care. 'Cause I'm a wise owl and I don't give a hoot about being your sweet substitute. As far as I'm concerned, you can go, you can stay. Either way, baby. Happy to know I don't love you no more. At least not in the same old way. Happy birthday, Caffe Lena. Hope to be seeing you all soon. Right there on Filer Street. We'll all go to Hattie's Chicken Shack afterwards.
Hi, this is Rory Block, and I'd like to play a song in memory of the wonderful Lena Spencer. I wrote this song, it's called Lavin Whiskey. Well, if you live in dusty twilight, baby, that's okay, 'cause there are women at the bar to greet you every day. And you can take them back to lie with you and visit Jamie's room, but they can never take the pain away or brighten all the gloom. And if your hands are clenched in sorrow, may it help you ease your pain, though the windows have a view of city rain. City rain. Well, if you walk in constant sorrow and you cry for me, if you're hit with painful memories, maybe then you'll see that if you drown yourself in liquor because it keeps you company, just remember who you're losing and be proud to set me free, because it don't talk back, it don't disagree, said it just makes you see so hazily. But in the morning light your life is scattered with the wind, scattered with the wind. Well, you know, they tell you on the telephone to let him go. Said they tell you he's a sinking ship and he's trying to pull you down, don't you know? But every time you call me up, say you want me back, you know you break my heart. Said you want me to come back home and try again, you want me to make a brand new start. Well, if wisdom says to let him go home, then you know it's hell, because you just don't know until you've tried to love a man who's loving whiskey, loving whiskey. My baby left me for the bottle and the lure of the nightlife, good times and crazy women, and another glass of Tanqueray. Well, if wisdom says to let him go, then you know it's hell, because you just don't know until you've tried to love a man who's loving whiskey, loving whiskey. I just wanted to share a memory of Lena that goes back any number of years. I can't remember what year it was. We had gotten in touch and agreed that I would come up and have coffee or tea and just look around. She wanted to show me something that I had never been aware of before. We walked all around the venue. I'd been there many times, but we walked all around, and she was just sort of giving me a little history, who had been where at what time, some of the names and people that had been through the place, the wonderful Caffe Lena. And all of a sudden she pulled aside a curtain, and there was this door. It was like a secret door. It was like Alice through the looking glass or something. So we pulled aside the curtain, and there was this door, and we went through, and there was a theater. I was like, what? It was like it appeared out of nowhere. And she said, this is the theater space that we have. And I'm like, I never knew about that. And she said, yeah, we have plays, and we have, dramatic presentations and so on. I'm like, wow. So it was never mentioned ever again. It's almost like it was in a dream, and you guys who are there now will tell me what that was. But I certainly remember my times with Lena, not that many, just a sweet, lovely, dear person who obviously, was a supporter of the arts in the realest way, did more for more artists establishing their careers and so on. So we miss her terribly. She was a pillar of the community and the larger musical community. So today we remember Lena, and we're glad, ever so glad, that Caffe Lena has survived and been beautifully renovated and has a whole new existence now. We all appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Sending love and best wishes to everyone. Thank you.
When I first went there, Lena had just died. It was a vibey place, like there was this presence of Lena, whoever she was. Ever since, every time I walk in there and see pictures of her, I feel that this is still her place, and it is about art and a bold, artistic spirit. Katie Curtis.
The room is so conducive to feeling completely natural, which is not always the case. You can feel all of that stuff that happened at Caffe Lena. That stuff just soaks right into you. In that room, I'm totally free and can try new things. We've done a lot of new songs there. Sarah Lee Guthrie.
Hi. Congratulations. 60 years is a really long time to keep this work alive and healthy. And I'm sending you awe and appreciation. And hope you have a wonderful celebration of your 60 years. I'm 70, so I'm a little older than you. But I really love the times that I have performed at the Caffe Lena. And happy to be here with the multitudes of audiences and artists that have graced your space. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is a hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. I am open and I am willing, and I am willing, for to be hopeless, for to be hopeless would seem so strange, seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up, so lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion, and give me a desert to hold my fear. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder, and give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Happy 60th. Really appreciate you. Much love.
When I first played at Caffe Lena, it was smaller than I had imagined. Sometimes the legend of a place is bigger than the actual square footage. You have to rewrite that legend in your own head. Ellis Paul.
Hi guys, my name is Ellis Paul. I'm a frequent performer at Caffe Lena there in Saratoga Springs. I've been coming to the place for, must be 25 years now. So it's basically a cornerstone of my touring life and my own personal history. And my favorite memories include just coming in early and the staff and Sarah and the gang allowing me to come in early to work on songs. So I've written a few songs in that place on the old piano on the stage there, and watching its evolution has been just remarkable in the last few years. So I'm thrilled that it survives and continues to survive, and thank you so much for supporting it. I'm going to do a song here for you called Drive-In Movie. Take me to a drive-in movie. Put your body right next to me. Whisper promises to me. Roll the windows down. 'Cause when you look at me like that, kiss me, I'll kiss you right back. Break your heart, give it to me. Take me to a drive-in movie. Take me on a long vacation, outbound from an old train station. We'll watch the world go by till we close our eyes in a sleeping car. We'll wake up in a brand new place. You're the only one who knows my face, looking for a little salvation. Take me on a long vacation. Doesn't matter where we go. Take me. I don't even have to know. Take me. Take me on a roller coaster. I wanna feel my heart turn over. Till I'm upside down, can't touch the ground, there's no gravity. I wanna feel my blood rush, just like the first time we touched. Wanna fall over and over and over. Take me on a roller coaster. Take me to a driving moon. Slide a little closer to me. Thanks, guys.
Hi, we're Annie and Johnny Rosen of Annie and the Hedonists.
Hello.
And we're thrilled to be part of the 60th anniversary for the incredible
Caffe Lena.
Now, we moved here in 1990 from Wisconsin, and we're blown away at the incredible music
Oh,
scene.
yeah. We have, the Gotta Get Gone, old songs.
The Eighth Step, the list goes on and
Falcon
on.
Ridge.
Yeah, incredible. But nothing compares to the best listening room.
Oh, yeah.
Caffe Lena, best in the U.S.
On the planet.
In the universe.
That's right.
Absolutely. Now, unfortunately, our bandmates are not with us.
They're with us, but they're just not here. They're all at home. They're staying safe. They're doing what they should be doing.
Safety first.
Yes.
And I just want to say that we want to give a big call out to our band members, Peter Davis, multi-instrumentalist, Donald Young, another multi-instrumentalist.
Yes. Oh, and Jerry Murata.
Our great drummer.
Oh, yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. And also, I want to say thank you to Sarah and all the staff of Caffe Lena, the supporters, the volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't happen without you. And thank you so much for keeping the music alive in this difficult period. Now,
Yes.
What are you going to sing today, Annie?
Well, I'm going to do a song from the Empress of the Blues, and that would be Bessie Smith, and we're going to do Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out.
Oh, yeah, and when you're home isolating for 2 months, that's for sure.
Definitely. Kennedy.
Hi, this is Pete.
And Maura,
the Kennedys. The first time we played at Caffe Lena was, around the 40th anniversary. And the very first gig we did, in the spirit of community, we donated all of the proceeds back to the club because we were hoping it would keep going, and it has for 20 years. So we're glad to have played a tiny part in that process, and we hope it keeps going for decades.
It'll go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 years down the line, and we're happy to be a little small part of the Caffe Lena history.
And here's a song all about caring for one another. Maura wrote it. It's called Safe Until Tomorrow.
1, 2, 3, 4. You watch the fire burn on the hillside. Thought you were safe until the flames were at your door. And later on, the bitter rains brought on a landslide so
congratulations, Caffe Lena, and congratulations, Sarah Craig, and all of her staff and volunteers. And I did play the 12-string guitar because I know that that's what you like, Sarah.
Mwah, love you.
Congrats.
Bye.
What had to change was changed for the better, and what needed to remain is still intact. The old place had its charm, and we all enjoyed it and will treasure the memories always. The even better news is that what made Lena's great is still intact. The performers and the patrons will enjoy Caffe Lena for the next 100 years. Jeffrey Smith.
I started volunteering at Caffe Lena when I was 15 years old, during a very difficult time in my life. The cafe was a place of stability where I could be normal for a moment away from the chaos of the rest of my life. When I started volunteering, I was shy and struggled to talk to people. But everyone was so warm and welcoming, and over time I became more comfortable in my own skin. I would not be the person I am today had I not become a volunteer. My time there has made me more confident, inspired me, and brought the most wonderful people into my life. For that, I am grateful. Autumn Naylor.
Hey, I'm Sawyer Fredericks. Happy anniversary to Caffe Lena. When I was 14 years old, I was performing at the open mics at Lena's, and after one of my sets, Sarah Craig offered me my first paid gig opening for the Kennedys. I'm so thankful to Sarah and everyone at Caffe Lena for creating such a welcoming space for growing artists. I'm going to play a song off my new album, Flowers for You. It's called Days Go By. Go by and I am better off with you by my side, and I don't want to leave your light and all the love you brought into my life. I'm so in love with scars are showing, teach my eyes so I can see your burdens. Know that I long to be yours and yours only. So let me go if you want to. I'm not gonna more than you love yourself, then I'll catch the stones till you've thrown your heart guilt. Flash into life, it seems I'm overwhelming. Don't like the way I'm talking, as if I know what's gonna happen. No, I can't say where love will lead us. Far from it, I just know that it does find its way through all this madness. All mistakes, we'll be glad we had them. So let me go if you want to. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want you to. I love you more than you love yourself, then I'll catch the stones till you've thrown your heart guilt. more than you love yourself. Then I'll catch the stones. Once again, happy anniversary to Caffe Lena.
Hi, this is Joe Jencks, and I'm here to wish Caffe Lena a happy 60th birthday. For the last 60 years, Caffe Lena has been presenting the finest in folk music from across North America and beyond, and it has become synonymous with truly the greatest of what folk music has to offer. But Caffe Lena is so much more than just a venue. Caffe Lena is a place where community gathers, where people come together to celebrate the past and the present and the future of folk music. It is a place where people have always been welcomed for a cup of coffee and conversation, a place where young people were welcome to explore their own potential, where emerging artists had the opportunity to gather for showcases and songwriter rounds and share in the cultivation of the craft and community. And so I say to Caffe Lena on this incredibly auspicious occasion, congratulations. I'm sorry that we can't gather together in person to celebrate, but we are together in spirit, in heart, and in song. And folk music is a big tent. As Big Bill Brunsey once said, folk music, ain't never heard horses sing, none of it, it's all folk music. Caffe Lena has been celebrating everything about folk music for 60 years, and I offer my gratitude to all of the staff and directors, past and present, for holding this legacy high, for working hard to ensure its future, and for welcoming so many of us over so many years into a beautiful and gracious space. Happy birthday. I wrote this song on the morning that Pete Seeger passed away. It talks about poets, philosophers, workers, and wanderers, all people who have found a ready welcome at Caffe Lena. You've asked me here to tell you about my neighbors and my friends, to talk about the who and what, the where and how and when. But I won't give you anything that you don't already know. But if you'd like, I'll sing that list of songs before I go. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Well, you say it's un-American to do the things I do. When I sing for justice, liberty, and civil rights, it's true. When I say it's un-American to ask me how I vote, how I pray, or what I believe, but here's a song I wrote. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. In 1955, my friend and mentor Pete Seeger was called before the House Un-American Activities Committee. He was called to answer questions about the songs he was writing and their meaning, who he was writing them with and who he was writing them for. He was asked questions about any political parties he may or may not have been affiliated with. Are you now or have you ever been? He was asked questions about houses of worship that he may or may not have attended. all questions a reasonably literate person could understand to be in violation of their constitutional rights. And so Pete's answers were both vague and precise. A summation of his answer could be this. He just said, "Gentlemen, I'm just a singer. I travel all over the world and I sing songs that serve to lessen the distance between people. As for these other accusations that you're making, well, I'm not entirely clear how to respond, but I brought my banjo with me to Congress today, and if you'd like, I'd be happy to sing some of those songs for you that you find so concerning." Well, they declined his gracious offer, and the questions continued, until finally one of the congressmen stomped his foot and said, "Mr. Seeger, are you pleading the Fifth Amendment?" Well, Pete looked over at his lawyer, and very thoughtfully he turned back to the congressman and he said, "Why, no, sir, I'm pleading the First Amendment." If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Well, if you want to send me to prison, I guess that's the way it'll be. 'Cause I won't give you fodder for your paranoid machine. If the price of my silence is shackles, well then feathers take me away. For I will live to sing again and rise with a brand new day. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Yes, the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night.
That was a beautiful show. We want to say a few thank yous. First of all, to all of you for spending your evening with us and being part of this celebration. My name is Sarah Craig. I'm the one who was the Sarah Craig in there and the one who talked at the beginning of the night. And this is Jim Mastriani, who is the president of Caffe Lena's board of directors. And how long, Jim?
President for 2.5 years, yeah. On the board for 5.
On the board for 5. And he came in with so much energy and so many fresh ideas, and has been wonderful for the organization. I'd also like to say a few other thank yous to all of those musicians who responded to my request for a video and a story. I delivered that request about a week ago. This entire show came together in the course of about a week, and they are all very busy people, many of them trying to hold their personal finances together, and for them to have contributed their time and their love like that is very touching to me. I also want to thank Reese, Fulmer, and Joel Moss, who did all of the technical work of splicing this together and making sure that it sounded good for you. Of course, the videos came in at all different sound levels, and they made a seamless production out of it. And then in between, as we were introducing each decade, you saw photographs by Joe Deuel and Joe Alper. The earlier ones were from Joe Alper. Many of the later ones were from Joe Deuel, who you know is the sound tech here at Caffe Lena. He's also a genius photographer. And Joe, if you're watching right now, I'm sorry, I didn't use high resolution photos. And then the voices that were going over those photos, reading quotes that musicians have given to us over the years. That was, let's see, Joe did some of those quotes, and Oona Grady and James Gascoyne and Vivian Nesbitt all came in here and read for us into a microphone. And we appreciate all of them for being part of that production. What did you think of the show, Jim?
Well, I thought it was fantastic. Many of this predates my life, and so it's wonderful to see how long and varied and strong the legacy is of this organization. I'm very pleased to be standing on the shoulders of so many giants who worked so hard through all these years to make sure that this fun, funky little folk club here in Saratoga Springs is able to not only survive but to thrive.
It has defied the challenges, and like Holly Near sang in her song, how can we be faint of heart when the ones who have gone before us showed so much courage and so much commitment. So we need to match that. Jim, this is a time of course, extraordinary challenge right now. Could you talk a little bit about what you see as maybe one of the greatest challenges for us?
Sure. So, a couple of years ago, we decided to embark on this bold new strategy of the cafe where we said, let's try to expand our audience. Let's try to expand our offerings. I think we had the key phrase of the next level act, that we wanted to honor our past, but we wanted to move forward and really kind of see how much we could really ramp up the cafe. And so we came up with this bold new strategy, and for 2 years it really, really worked really well. And we've been able to offer names here, artists that is shocking, to have someone like a Joan Osborne on this very stage. For someone like me in my era, my generation, is very meaningful. And so we had this great strategy, and so now we're rolling into a full stop on that strategy because of the extraordinary circumstances that we're in right now. So the biggest challenge that I see right now is that the board has worked very hard to put together a budget and to put together a strategy of what we're going to do, and that all has to get thrown out the window. And so we have to pivot on what we're going to do moving forward. Now, the team, and certainly led by you and the staff here, has done a wonderful job pivoting. And it's really, in my mind, I think it's remarkable that we've been able to change from being a live venue to being what is indeed a TV station, a broadcast station.
It basically is.
And that we've been able to. We're certainly the only arts organization I know of that is still presenting our product, our mission, on a nightly basis.
Yeah, I think, and as I look at that, I know that this period that we're in is temporary right now. This room is not going to be empty forever. People are going to start trickling back in here at some undefined moment in the future. But when you look at that group of people who just performed for us, so many of them mentioned that one of their earliest shows was on this stage. And that means that somebody took a chance on them. They were not, already famous, beloved folk singers traveling coast to coast. They were maybe local people or people just moving kind of out of what they called basket houses in the village, which we would just say like pubs and coffee houses now, into a ticketed venue and just starting to prove themselves and learn to connect in a listening room. In order for that step to happen in somebody's career, somebody needs to take a chance. And when an organization is strong and has the resources, it can take those chances. If that organization is wobbling or under stress, then it becomes much more tempting to go with the kind of known entities.
Sure.
I think that Caffe Lena is very, very extraordinarily committed to introducing the next generation and cultivating the next generation of artists. That's what is at the heart of what we do here. But I think you're going to find very few venues maintaining that commitment. And so I see that as a little bit scary in terms of sort of the pipeline of new talent for the music world in the future.
I mean, just as Lena Spencer had booked Bob Dylan, you know, there are many, many people that you have booked. I mean, the one that comes top to mind is Darling Side.
Mm-hmm.
That here were these, you know, 4 very talented college guys from
and
down the road.
Sawyer.
Yeah, and of course Sawyer Fredericks, of course. Yeah, and there's many different artists. And so when we think about the organization in whole, we're in a good position. We still have our challenges, but I look at 3 pillars of any organization that needs these 3 pillars for success. We need to have our intellectual capital. So that's basically what you do. You know, we present music, and we have processes and procedures and relationships built to be able to do that, our intellectual capital. The next thing that you need is your human capital. And I think certainly when you look at the comments that people have been commenting on YouTube tonight, I think when you talk about people, when you talk to other people in the community, this is an incredibly good team. You know, your leadership being here for 25 years has been fantastic. You've been able to really adapt and change to the new challenges of the organization. We as a board threw a lot at you. You know, whereas we were 1 or 2 people before with a modest budget, we really ramped up the organization, hired a lot of people, really cranked up the budget. And you've been able to adapt to that. And the team that we have, it really is a well-oiled machine. And so certainly coming into this crisis, we knew that we had to preserve the team by hook or by crook, because if we didn't preserve this team, we were going to lose that human capital that is so important for this organization. So we've got 2 pillars really, really strong internally. So now we're talking about the 3rd pillar, and the 3rd pillar is financial capital. And so that is where we're putting together this evening, and we're announcing our new initiative.
Yeah. So the donations that you have been making, and if you haven't hit that tip jar, that virtual tip jar yet, the link is right on the screen. And we do strongly encourage you to make a donation, because this event was seen as our primary fundraiser for 2020. And that is raising money for children's music lessons and community outreach to elders and to people who are poor and to school children, and many other new programs that we have launched in the last couple of years that don't generate any revenue. They come because people donate to us, and that allows us to take what happens in here, this core, beautiful experience, and spread it out into the world to people who otherwise would not be able to experience it. That's what your donations are going to do tonight in the tip jar. But we have just hit a wall where we have no tickets to sell. We have no food to sell. We are very, very good at earning a living, but we don't have the opportunity to earn a living right now. And I think that what the world has discovered is that this is probably not the only time this kind of crisis is going to come around. That we are, just like we are seeing it in the climate, we are probably going to see it in the economy, these sort of wild storms that are unexpected and that are going to hit us. And as sturdy and durable as Caffe Lena is, and as good at bouncing back from a blow as it is, the organization is trying to produce so much more than it used to. It's not just Lena who can move in here and live inside the venue. This is a fully professional operation right now, and it needs a security of an endowment. And Caffe Lena is a nonprofit organization that operates almost 365 days a year, that does phenomenal amounts of work, yet it has no endowment. And so looking at that, long before coronavirus hit, we said, this is the year. We have become so necessary, not only to Saratoga and to the wider music world, but we cannot risk anything here. We need to have the security of an endowment. And so we're calling it the Lena Legacy Society. And we are not asking you to make a donation to it right now. We are asking you to put it in your mind. And when you are planning your future, your estate, and what kind of legacy you want to leave behind, if the kind of work that Caffe Lena is doing is the kind of work that you want to see in the world, we ask that you consider leaving something to Caffe Lena in your will and in your future planning. And so we will have information up on our website about that you can look at, and brochures that you can request at any time. And I would be happy to talk to you about it. Nancy Cass on our staff would be happy to talk to you about it, and Jim and other members of the board. And so that's the Lena Legacy Society, and we just ask that you just kind of put it in your head for now, and that when you think about those charitable gifts that you want to leave behind, please consider Caffe Lena, because we will promise to do beautiful work with it. So, Jim, should we say goodnight?
I think we should.
We should say goodnight. We'll put on our face masks and we'll go back out into the world, and we will continue to put on music here every night at 8 o'clock. Some of it will be pre-recorded and much of it will be live, and we'll continue to get paychecks into the pockets of our regional musicians. We're continuing the Caffe Lena School of Music throughout all of this. There are lessons for adults too, if you're interested. And if you have ideas or things that you'd like to see us doing, feel free to get in touch. Thank you so much for celebrating Caffe Lena's 60th anniversary, and here's to the future.